The car passes a handwritten sign, that of a religious revival church. A box of snakes is carried into the house, and a brother and sister argue over whether or not to use real venomous snakes in their church service. Zach, the brother, rather stupidly gets bitten right away because, duh, it's a freaking rattlesnake. Just when it looks like he's dead, he miraculously comes back to life and promptly heals one of the parishioners, causing the leg to grow back. Yay? I've never quite understood this kind of church. Why would you purposely play around with creatures that could kill you? A show of faith and tempting fate are very different things. Zed is in an art class drawing a naked model. Why is she taking classes now? She clearly knows how to draw, but I guess she's trying to broaden her horizons. Eddie, the model, tries to take her out for coffee, but spooked by her vision of snakes, Zed can only postpone the date until later. John knows right away what the vision meant and packs provisions, i.e., lots. Inside and outside the church, Zach's congregation has grown because who doesn't want to be magically healed? Zed's defensive about John's dismissal of faith healing, but honestly, John knows a whole lot more about Zed than these things. John's interest spikes when he hears Zach speak Enochian, the language of the angels. Nate, previously the amputee who was healed in the opening scene, goes to see a doctor and apparently hates him because he goes all demon and kills him. You could have changed doctors, you know. Zed comes face to face with Zach and sees an angelic vision. John declines taking hands with Zach, asking where he learned Enochian. No answer to that. Are we really surprised? Demon Nate kills a cop and lopes off on all fours. Huh. Okay. Zed and John discuss Zach's intentions, with John firm in his belief something is wrong with this hopeful picture. At a river, seeing hundreds of dead fish, John tries to lure Manny. Finally, a legit use for an angel in this show. Zach's sister, Sarah, is slightly nervous about the recent happenings around the church, but Zach reassures her everything's good. Her rattling cough says otherwise. John officially summons Manny and hooks him after saying please. Manny is less than helpful, of course, but his advice does get John and Zed to the place where an angel has fallen. The CGI for the wings has gotten better. Imogen tells them she's been grounded because her wings have been damaged. Zach pulled out one of her feathers when she tried to take his soul where it belonged. Manny appears and tells John Imogen needs to get her feather back because otherwise she'll die. Zed is pretty zazzed to meet an angel, despite John's warnings that they aren't everything they're cracked up to be. John manages to get Zach alone and tells it straight, but the faith healer's not listening. He tries to take the feather, but is repelled by a mystical force. Of course, it can't be that easy. Zed gets attacked by Demon Nate, but John's there to kill him with his scythe, supposedly taken from the Grim Reaper himself. Or herself, if you know of the Sandman series. Nate had become a ghoul, a product of magic gone wrong. Zed goes all Mulder, wanting to believe, and agrees to be baptized by Nate. She steals the stolen angel feather, and chaos erupts. Meanwhile, Manny talks to Imogen, asking what it feels like to take on corporeal form. He displays a bit of depth, finally, curious to know how the sun feels on skin. I'm guessing in spirit form he can't feel much of anything. Zach confesses to John that he killed a man while driving drunk one night, and John realizes Zach was destined for hell, not heaven. He didn't really seem like the nicest guy to begin with. Imogen starts talking crazy, desiring to take the world back for the angels, when Zed arrives with the feather, and the ghouls revert back to their normal form. Imogen's feathers turn black, and Manny now knows Imogen was a fallen angel all along. John's barrier keeps her locked into the barn. Nice spell, man. Imogen purposely gave Zach her feathers so she could cross over, intending to stay in the earthly realm. John begs Manny for help when Imogen threatens Zed's life, and for once he gives it, taking Imogen's heart, killing her. Zach's congregation is significantly smaller now, because who wants to be accidentally turned evil? I'm surprised anyone stayed. Manny tells John the barrier between hell and earth is getting thinner as a consequence of the rising darkness. It's a nice excuse. Eddie from modeling class calls Zed, wondering why she's missed their date. Hey, personal hygiene is important, alright? All is not on the up and up, though, because Eddie's not alone in his car, and it seems his desire to see Zed is shared by others. I actually disliked this episode at first, but reviewing it changed my mind a bit. Though Zach's character could have used a bit more development, the story is tight, and the tying to Zed's background is quite well done. It deals with issues of faith, and how it can blind you sometimes. John's cynical nature is at odds with Zed's because she's a clear believer, while John has intimate knowledge of religion and doesn't buy into it, proof seen or otherwise. His own status as damned probably has a lot to do with that decision. He well knows the light can be just as bad as the dark. Manny steps up and becomes a real character. He has a longing for the mortal world, questions his status as a guardian, and even breaks the rules when it seems only he can save Zed. Seeing the master foreboding and warnings man up is great. I'm not exactly sure what consequences he'll face as a result, but it's worth it in my opinion. I'm still not 100% fond of Blessed Are the Damned, so that gets a 3 out of 5 from me. Good, but not up to the standards in the last 2 episodes. It is nice to see the writers expand the mythology of Constantine, though, even if it is more of the same Judeo-Christian stuff we've seen in every other supernatural show.